Welcome to the Boise Game State Esports Arena. Tonight you are watching our coverage of the Rocket League Esports Tower Rumbles. As we start out October, we go into the grand finals for this week. Tonight we wrap up our Rumble with the grand finals. The Hammerheads and Barracudas face off in a rematch of our winners finals. Who will bring home the title today? I'm your host, Jacob Palmer, joined by Joe Jigbrow to call all of the action for you today. So now excuse me, I was just thinking back to last week, and that's why I'm at such a loss for words, because we had some, you and Nerdy can attest, we had some interesting matches there. But now we are down to the grand finals. It's going to be a best of 7, and so hopefully I'm prepared to see some of the best that these teams have to offer, and I love when we see the skill level go up, we see more of that aerial play.
Yeah, last week was certainly fun. There were some matches that were a little bit more serious than others. It was certainly an entertaining few matches to watch, but I'm really hoping to see some kind of locked-in seriousness from the teams today. A lot of teamwork, a lot of the aerial play, and display of skill that they've been working on for so long now, because a lot of these players, even if they're newer, have been part of the Esports Tower for a long time at this point. Well,
let's recap who is going to be joining us for this tournament, or rather who has been joining us, and who will go off in the grand finals. We had 5 teams joining us. The Lynxes, the Hammerheads, the Barracudas, the Mammoths, and the Wolves. And the ones who made it toward the grand finals are going to be the Hammerheads and Barracudas. They will face off in a double elimination bracket, best of 7 finals, so always the possibility for everyone's favorite, a best of 7 bracket reset. But that's just the way it sometimes goes. We will be able to get into the match pretty soon, but before we do, we want to remind everybody on Twitch to support your team, celebrate their successes, but of course be respectful to other fans. Mods will remove anyone who violates the chat rules. So, as we're ready to head into the game, I'm sure we will have plenty of points of advice to give to these players. We actually can see that we have a lineup for everyone here for the Hammerheads and Barracudas. Some of these names we already very well know.
Yeah, for the Barracudas, Gababy and Nano working together is kind of just a classic at this point, but a new face, I believe, for the team specifically is Crazy Cat, while on the Hammerhead side we will have Sketch, essentially Boss and Potato, who I believe was our player of the day last week.
It was kind of hard to tell who was who player of the day last week, but I do have to say Potato is kind of the only veteran that we see on that team, whereas Gababy and Nano being on the same team, I would be very concerned about that, just because, well, they're very, very good players, and having kind of 2 varsity, if you will, players on one team versus one on the other, we could have one team have their work very much cut out for them. But whoever wants to win is going to have to follow Doc's keys to the game in Rocket League. That's create mistakes, punish overcommits, play off the walls better, and demo to disrupt. It's brought to you by Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, and improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. Well, let's kick off our grand finals with the Hammerheads need to win to force a bracket reset, while the Barracudas need to win to claim this title. So are we going to have a quick night tonight, or is a bracket reset going to drive us to very interesting mental places, is all I'm going to say, because sometimes, man, it gets down to the final 7 game, and the team thinks that they can close it out, and then the other team just kind of spoils it all and forces you to get into another best of 7 game. Sometimes the attrition can really set in gameplay-wise if you're forced to play up to 14 rounds in a row. So let's see how it works out. Will the Barracudas be able to close this out quickly, or will the Hammerheads upset them? Let's get into the first game and see how things turn out.
Right off the bat, kickoff 1 for the Hammerheads, but it will fall into the lap of Nano, who goes to the air dribble solo play here. Only blocked by Potato and essentially Boss. A double commit could be worrisome for a second, but Potato is able to keep it out, play it to himself a little longer. Baby bumped out of the way. Sketch has an opportunity here, but he is blocked by the last defender. Barracuda is playing a little defense now as the Hammerheads just keep trying to get a play all set up. No striking situations quite yet. Sketch looking for an opportunity here. Oh, the menu is up, and we're going to take a quick reset.
Yeah, it just looks like a little bit of a tech break. Might have just had some issues there before we hop into the arena. But while we're waiting for everything to get reset back up again, the coaches say the Hammerheads wanted to get into the grand finals for a rematch of the winners finals. So these teams have already faced up against each other. So there's always interesting when you have that little kind of revenge storyline going in there. You want to beat the team that beat you, but they're going to have to beat them 2 times in a best of 7 to force the bracket reset. As we get back into the action, about a minute has elapsed. Essentially, it's going to try to corral this, but Nano almost tries to take it away from them, but the ball takes a weird bounce. Protato's going to leave it for Sketch. The pass back to Protato toward the goal, but it gets deflected off to the side. Now here's the shot on goal. It's stopped by Gababy. And Nano is going to ground that, and Gababy now takes it for the clear.
During that downtime, it looks like the Barracudas did pull ahead early. Kind of their trademark at this point is early pressure. A shot from Potato, pass off the back wall, but unable to do anything else with it. Nano will air dribble out, gets past one, it's past Boss. Sketch has to make the clear into the corner, only to get blocked by Gababy. Then Potato barely getting the last-ditch effort save against Crazy Cat. Nano having to take it by himself, but is blocked by essentially Boss, and pressure will move in favor of the Hammerheads as Crazy Cat tries to find a way out of his own end, but will be blocked by Potato here, and it will stay in the Barracudas' defensive end a little bit longer.
Gababy knocks it off over to the corner. Nano is going to be able to steal the boost away from the Hammerheads. Barracudas still facing a 1-goal lead. Nano sets it up right in front of the Hammerheads' goal, but there's no follow-up for now. Crazy Cat with a pass back over to Gababy.
Crazy Cat playing it off in the corner, does get past one, has the space to pass to a teammate. He leaves it for Gababy, who hits it back into the corner. Nano looking for the read, but the corner bounce is just a little bit too erratic. Potato with the clear out. Crazy Cat with the low shot, blocked by Boss, over to the wall. Nano has to be in the way, but he does not quite make contact. Gababy's gonna have to take it all the way across. He has no help. Looks for the musty flick around one, and he gets it. Potato flicks it in the midfield, unable to get past anyone else. Crazy Cat has to get back fast. He has to get in front of the ball, and he does. Essentially, Boss barely able to keep the pressure away from a shot, but for how long as Nano looks for the play down the midfield.
Barracudas are playing pretty fierce with a lot of demos. It's going to be set up in front of the goal. Crazy Cat is back in midfield, ready to take the shot past Potato, deflected off to the corner. Pass over to Essentially. He's now going to try to redirect it around the corner. Still yet to find a goal for the Hammerheads as Barracudas maintain their momentum.
Crazy Cat looking for the play in the corner, beat out by Boss, looking for a play in the far corner. However, he's not able to do it. Gababy will beat him out and get past one. Has one more to beat. Hits it high towards Sketch, who bangs it back towards his own corner. Nano's there. He looks for the shot, and some weird whiffs from the Hammerhead almost lead to an opportunity here, and it will be taken off a pass from the back wall. Nano will clean it up. A great pass from, I believe it was Crazy Cat. Yes, it was off the wall towards Nano. No contact from the Hammerheads will lead to a second goal in favor of the Barracudas, extending them into that safety position.
Next kickoff slightly in favor of Barracudas, but it's quickly gotten back control of by Hammerheads. Essentially plays off the wall, off to the post, and Nano tries to clear it, but the ball gets a lot of aerial, but not a lot of forward momentum. Still going to be caught in the Barracudas half of the field. Sketch sets up for Potato. The shot on goal, saved by Nano, and the demo onto Essentially might be enough for the Barracudas to clear this out.
All 3 members of the Hammerheads moving up. Sketch gets past one, hits it off the far wall, and it will not quite go in. No contact yet from the Hammerheads. Gababy takes the shot. Nano redirects it in. Nobody home for the Hammerheads, and another goal for the Hammerheads. It will put 2 goals on the plate for Nano this early in the series. Maybe even looking at a hat trick in this game, but a firm lead now for the Barracudas.
Barracudas have only dropped games to the Hammerheads last week. Only dropped a few games to the Hammerheads last week, so the Barracudas are very confident that they can finish this series quickly. They're already kind of playing that way as Gababy right off the kickoff just plays around. The Hammerheads gets yet another goal, and Barracudas now go up 4-0.
And it looks like that goal that we didn't see earlier actually was a goal for Nano as well, so that is a hat trick for Nano this far along into the series. Potato is looking to change his fate a little bit in this last minute, but I don't know if 50 seconds is enough to get the Barracudas into a spot where they actually have to be worried. Sketch trying to find a play out to Potato. He does get it, but it'll just roll right back into the hands of the Barracudas. Can do whatever they want with it, but they pass it back. Could be an opportunity here for Boss, but nope, it will be barely cleared out by the Barracudas, and they will find a way all the way out. This could go all the way in. This could go the extra mile. Oh, that was by far one of the craziest backward redirects I've seen in a while by his own teammate. See here. It was Potato who accidentally got one of the craziest shots I've ever seen off of his own backboard, and that will put them firmly behind. And basically at this point, it's a go-next situation for the Hammerheads.
Yeah, it's something you can't necessarily get too much in your head. Maybe the Hammerheads can get one goal. Sketch is definitely trying, but it's taken away by Gababy. Crazy Cat's also going to be disrupting the Hammerheads just a little, trying for some bumps. Back and forth it goes, back in front of the Hammerheads goal. The Barracudas looking to put this to 6-0, and indeed they do. Crazy Cat gets another.
Yeah, and I think at this point, if you're the Hammerheads, we've said it a million times, you just got to be thinking only good vibes. Just try to feel out for the next one. And honestly, at this point, just try to get one more consolation goal maybe in the next 10 seconds. Try to maybe get the momentum moving in your favor, but we'll have to see what happens these next few seconds. This Boss getting a tap towards the wall, can't do anything else. Crazy Cat doesn't make contact. This could be open for Sketch. He passes to Boss. This could be the goal they need, but no, he makes not quite enough contact. He'll chip it towards the corner, and that will end the first game of the series in very strong favor of the Barracudas. An 0-6 deficit for the Hammerheads, and all their pressure in favor of the Barracudas.
Well, the coaches definitely think that for overall gameplay, and you can see right here a lot of shots on goal by the Barracudas. They were just so able to consistently get it in front of the goal, and you didn't see any shots on goal from really right in front of the black zone there from the Hammerheads. So a bit unfortunate for them, but the Hammerheads are going to need to pace themselves as well as the Barracudas if they want to win this best 7. That's the main thing the coaches have been talking about, is pacing this week, and that definitely comes in a best of 7 when you need to play so many games in a row.
Yeah, pacing yourself is super important on the field and both mentally as well, making sure that you're not using up all your positive energy. It's really good to have, positive vibes, get all excited and start fist bumping and yelling every time you get a goal, but it's definitely important mentally as well to just keep your energy close, get your, light fist bumps in, good job, go on next. But it's really important that in these long series that you're thinking about, this is not over with game 1.
Certainly isn't over, and the Hammerheads are going to have to try to prove that, as the Barracudas are now one step closer to getting their win. And starting off the kickoff, goes slightly in favor of the Barracudas. Sketch elevates up, going to be met by Gababy. Ball heads down to mid. Nano waiting for the play. Gababy is moving up the field, but it's stolen away from them by Sketch, putting a wrench in the Barracudas' plans.
Sketch and Nano battling for possession. Potato does clean up the mess. Over to Gababy, over to Crazy Cat, and a 50-50 in front of the net will go in favor of the Barracudas. They barely get out. Boss is up, looks for the play in the corner, gets one tap, rolls in front of the net. Nano will hit it out instead. Actually played off the top of him by Crazy Cat. Oh, this could be an opportunity, a great demo, but the shot is way too wide from Sketch. It won't find the back of the net. The battle in front of the Barracudas net has to be the most pressure they've felt in a while now. Potato keeping it in play a little longer, but only so Gababy can bang it, and pressure will stay on the side of Barracudas.
Sketch elevates up, but is unsuccessfully finding the clear, and Potato whiffs on his follow-up as well. That leaves it wide open for Gababy. Shot up in the right corner, but just takes one bounce off the crossbar, not quite aimed low enough. That leaves the Hammerheads trying to find a clear. It heads off to the corner. Nano to set it up, and the setup actually turns into a goal.
No player on the back post marker will spell disaster for the Hammerheads here. Nano takes a shot right towards the middle, and Sketch just caught flat-footed, not quite able to get an angle where he can actually find an out, and that will be the Barracudas' lead in the first minute of game 2. Kickoff in favor of the Hammerheads, but they aren't able to remain in control enough time. Crazy Cat almost had an opportunity, but he did whiff. Sketch making a play for a pass here. Oh, a bang between Gababy and Boss led to an interesting situation for a second there. Potato trying to play it through the corner, can't get past Gababy, who plays it around 1, has to look for the flick. Potato still in the way, gets the 50-50 past 1, is unable to do anything else with it. Nano will be able to stretch the length of the field, gets the 50-50 with Sketch, and Gababy will clean it up and push pressure in favor of the Barracudas.
Back over to towards the other side of the field. Barracuda's unable to find a good shot on goal, so they're going to have to try to defend against that clear brought out by the Hammerheads. They do manage to do that. It's set right up and to the right, but it's going to dribble off to the corner. Gababy whips on his take of the ball, so that also leaves it open for the Hammerheads. For yet another counterattack, they try to get the shot on goal, but run into the Barracudas instead.
Potato, 50-50 in the corner, over to Sketch. Not able to play it well off the wall, so Boss has to look for a pass mid. It's good, but Potato's barely not able to make contact. Boss cuts it off anyway, keeps the pressure going a little longer. Gababy has the play. Nope, he's beat out by Potato. The battle for the back of the net of the Barracudas is just not working right now. They need to put something together that's meaningful. No shots, really, that were looking anywhere near scary for the Barracudas. Nano almost finds the flippers at a triple commit from the Hammerheads defense. No one quite sure who had that ball. A little bit of worry, and the flip reset from Nano draws 3 defenders. Crazy Cat able to take the shot anywhere at the net, and he does. That will lead to a 2-0 deficit, a safety position for the Barracudas again, with less than a minute or less than half a game left on the clock.
Yeah, definitely a lack of coordination so far by the Hammerheads. We'll see if that's ironed out as we move forward. Potato is not going to be beat in that 50. He said he's going to be beat by the Barracudas. Nano shot towards goal, deflected by Sketch, and Sketch tries to turn it into a clear, but he's denied. Essentially, is only going to be able to drive it to mid off the wall.
Oh, and some issues with coordination there as well. The Hammerheads bumping into each other, leaving the ball for the Barracudas. Nano is up for a big read, but doesn't get it. Potato plays the ball slow back to himself. All 3 players on the Hammerheads on the left side of the field is not going to be good. Gababy able to get the big clear. Nano taking it for himself, looks for the double tap, barely doesn't connect with the second touch. Shot down from Gababy, not quite in. Barely not being able to find the back of the net right now. The Hammerheads defense holding true just a little bit longer, but they're not giving up quite yet. The Barracudas want their 3rd goal. Nano looks for the tap, only gives it back to essentially Boss, who finds, barely bounces out. And then the low shot, baiting the defender into going high. Potato puts a roller into the back of the net from the corner after a near whiff from Gababy. Sketch barely leaving it in time for Potato to take the shot. And a clean mind game will find them their 1st goal in the series, game 2. They only need 1 more to tie it up, but they have 1 minute and 16 left. Plenty of time to make that happen.
Despite some early hiccups, the Hammerheads are within range of equalizing. They have to get control of this ball before they can do that, as Crazy Cat sets it up a little high, and Gababy's late on that shot, so it heads off to the corner. Again, it's cleared by the Hammerheads. Centering goes through with help by Potato, who actually clears out 2 members of the Barracudas from the goal. It seems that 1 member who was spared is still enough for the Barracudas to delay it, for the team to respawn. Sketch is going to get the shot on goal, and Nano just casually deflects that, leaves it for Gababy up the field. He's not going to push, try to get a shot on goal, and denied by essentially.
Boss pushing towards the middle of the field, not able to make anything of it. Crazy Cat takes the 50-50 and it will bounce out towards the midfield. Potato's trying to keep the play alive a little longer, and he does. Crazy Cat is up. He does beat Boss. It'll go in favor of the Barracudas. We could be looking at some Hammerhead defense. It's not what they want with this little time in the game. Potato gets a shot. It's not good. Barely saved by the Barracudas defender. Potato keeping in play a little longer, looking for his shot. He does take it, but it's not in. Gababy is in the way. Crazy Cat takes a long shot. An overreaction flip from Sketch will make it roll all the way with 6 seconds left on the clock. I think it's pretty fair to say that the Barracudas are going to walk away with game 2 a little bit more well fought in this second game, but it still kind of felt like the Barracudas had all the pressure going into the first 3 minutes.
Well, now the last 5 seconds is going to end this as it hits the ground. Nothing much that the Hammerheads can do. In fact, 1 final goal might be in the cards for Barracudas. Doesn't turn out that way, but here we go. Into the 3rd match, see the Barracudas still maintaining a pretty solid control over the shots on goal statistic. It was a little bit more even in terms of side control, but it seemed the Hammerheads really struggled with turning clears into actual shots on goal. You can actually see here a lot more kind of centered shots from the Barracudas, as you can see.
Yeah, and it looks like Potato got really involved on the offensive end in that game. You saw a lot more shots and goals, or the 1 goal was for him actually, but the shots and the offensive were for the Hammerheads were kind of on Protato's end a little bit. He was even taking a lot of aggressive demos that you pointed out earlier on the Barracuda side, trying to find a way in. It just wasn't quite working out. They need to find a way to get everyone involved a little bit more. Can't just rely on Potato to take these snipe shots or find these demos. You have to make sure you're actually making something of the plays that are put in front of you. A lot of just pinball back and forth from left side to right side in front of the Barracuda's net, but not a lot of really pressuring shots.
Well, one thing that was talked about a little bit earlier was a completely different game, completely different event, but sometimes something that's brought up every now and then in these competitive games is sometimes these games can come down to games of mistakes. You know, it's those little mistakes that you made that are capitalized on by the opponents, and we're seeing some early coordination issues by the Hammerheads. If they're double committing or triple committing too much, even if that leads to just one goal going at the beginning of the game, that's still one goal that determines the whole pace of the game. It really is a butterfly effect, if you will, on how just one little mistake can snowball in. So just working on those fundamentals, trying to tighten things up as we head into Game 3. Barracudas lead by 2. They're looking to close this out, get the championships. The Hammerheads are going to have to stage a really huge rally from behind. So let's get into Game 3 and find out how everything turns out.
And this is best of 7, so technically the Hammerheads have one more life, but they probably appreciate not having to use it. Boss cutting a hole in the Barracuda's defense, but will not be able to find the way all the way to the back of the net. Baby looking for a 50-50 with Boss. Does win in favor of Boss. Potato looks for the pass out to Sketch. Sketch takes the shot. It's high and wide. It will not go in. Nano able to clear all to himself. Looks for a solo play. Baby is up. They're looking for the pre-jump play, and he almost finds it. Complete faith in the team from Baby and Nano. Can't say I blame them. They played together for so long. Hammerheads trying to find a way back in. Not able to put anything pressuring on the net yet. A shot from Baby is not quite in, but the mistake from the Hammerheads whiffing altogether will just leave it completely open. The defense in shambles right now for the Hammerheads.
Another unfortunate start for the defending team. This is turning into quite a long road ahead of them should they want to equalize. I know that they do. They're going to start things off with a semi-favorable kickoff, but Baby quickly answers that back. Essentially now it's a chance to control it, but gets it slammed over to the side by the Barracudas. They might have an opening here as Nano gets the demo onto Potato. It's going to make it actually a little bit tougher since they only have 2 members attacking, but now Potatoes respawn, and Sketch is going to keep the side control going for the Hammerheads. The ball isn't necessarily past anybody, so it's still going to be a little bit hard for them to try to find a shot on goal.
Potatoes up, takes the shot. It's low and a roller. Double commit from the Barracudas will find a way out. Another shot from the Hammerheads will not find the back of the net. And a long shot, barely safe for Potato. He's all over the place. Both ends of the field right now. Nano taking another shot, but it's blocked again. Crazy Cat with a slow roller. Essentially, Boss will hit it out. Nano towards the wall. Boss has a little bit of time, passes it over for Potato. Looking for a solo play, gets past one, won't get past the second, however. Nano takes the giant clear. Baby confirming that clear into the corner. Sketch able to dribble it out. Maybe looks for a solo play of his own. No, he looks for the pass out mid and does connect with Boss, but it's blocked for the last one by Crazy Cat. Potato's up to finish the goal off, but it will not be good. Transfer of pressure now in favor of the Barracudas. Essentially, Boss is last man standing to make this defense work.
Despite getting early leads, the Barracudas haven't been able to hold it to more than a 1-goal lead. And Sketch is going to try to get a shot on goal. It's just off to the right. Not going to be good for the Hammerheads, because they're going to try again with a follow-up from Essentially. Nano still saves that and keeps the Hammerheads to 0. Now Sketch back playing defense along with Potato. Who's going to take it around the corner? It's Potato. He's going to pass it, and who is he looking for? Essentially's the next one, but he isn't even able to get a touch on the ball. Baby has control of it. He's going to push it back to Nano in the midfield. A nice redirect toward the goal, but it's just a little bit left.
Boss over to Potato, takes the shot, and it will be in. There's maybe no boost in the Barracuda defender's tank. Felt a little bit slow. Boss with a good pass and a shot from Potato off the wall will hit the main corner. Oh no, he just caught a little bit out of position.
Yep.
They were not quite ready for that shot from the wall.
Yeah, even if you had the boost there, it was just already rotated too far up. He wouldn't have been able to get back there anyway. We'll see if the Barracudas can recover, because overall it seems like they've been the one that's slightly more in control, but the Hammerheads are going to try to get a goal as Potato now corrals it around Gababy. The pass is actually to no one. It's going to go high up for grabs. Sketch now grounding it. Potato is down in the corner. Going to rotate around, sees the open goal. A chip shot in, and there go the Hammerheads.
A whiff from the Barracudas will give the Hammerheads their first lead in the entire series. Look, oh, barely not making contact. Gababy found out. Potato will find the back of the net. We can see a little bit of heat, friendly heat in the chat there. Kickoff in favor of Gababy. Responded to by Sketch. Pushed towards the wall again by Crazy Cat. Playing a little defense, Gababy looks for the clear, but Boss is in the way. The pass over from Nano will go to Crazy Cat. And now the play is in the Hammerheads' end. They have to play defense. They barely keep it out. Almost a scary situation there for the Hammerheads, losing their lead immediately. But they're holding on with 1:33 left. They have an opportunity to score again. The pass is just not quite there, and a shot from Crazy Cat. Push pressure in favor of the Barracudas once more.
2 demolitions in favor of the Hammerheads. Give them a bit of room to clear it out right in front of the goal. Essentially tries to follow up, saved by Crazy Cat. Potato elevates up again, gets beaten to the ball in that 50. Essentially is going to leave it for Potato. The angle is very awkward though, and so it's going to leave the Barracudas with the clear back over toward the Hammerheads. But Nano, before he can even follow up, is demoed by Potato. And that means that the Barracudas are going to be left without a shot on goal going forward. And enough time for the Hammerheads to clear. They have less than a minute left, but now time is on their side as they can run out the timer. They'd probably like to get an insurance goal.
Crazy Cat off the wall, bounces down in front of the net, essentially hits towards the midfield, passed away by Nano to Gababy. Potato looking for a wall. Can't find it. Sketch looks for the solo play on his own from the wall. Gets past one. Gababy is able to keep it out a little longer with the pass over to Crazy Cat. Takes it to the other wall. Potato will beat everyone there. Looks for the play. Can't really do anything. Ends up dropping it down for Boss, who does make contact, but the 50-50 is in favor of the Barracudas. Boss pushing it back into the corner, not willing to give up on the aggressive play yet. Sketch off the wall, but no one's there to respond. Nano taps it back towards Gababy, who hits it off the wall. The Barracudas have the clock against them now. 4 seconds left on the clock, and it will not end up shaping out. It looks like Crazy Cat has one more opportunity, but Potato's going to put it down. And the Hammerheads finding their first win of the series. It's not doomed for them yet. We can see those scorelines get a lot more even with each game going into the series. I don't think the Hammerheads feel like they're out of it yet. Look at the pressure in favor of the Hammerheads this game. Look at all the accolades to essentially Boss and Potato. Definitely the offensive end was in favor of the Hammerheads in this game. We'll have to see if that remains true going into Game 4 now.
Well, I think the problem is for the Barracudas, as I mentioned it just last game, in fact. It is a game of mistakes sometime, and both of those goals that were scored by the Hammerheads were when the Barracudas had left the goal open entirely, or they didn't have someone on back post. They were rotated all the way over to front post, so they couldn't turn around and effectively defend. And I think the Hammerheads, ultimately their shots on goal just won out over some poor positioning by the Barracudas.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree there, and I feel like from just watching the Barracudas and the Hammerheads play against each other, it feels like the Hammerheads rely heavily on that kind of last man standing mentality with their defense. They're not cutting off a lot of passing plays before they happen. They're more just making the last-ditch effort save, and they've had some really cool saves like that. But if I'm the Barracudas right now, and I'm recognizing mistake, as you pointed out, mistake games are super important. If I'm recognizing that mistake, that they're not cutting down the passing plays early, maybe I go back to that play style that I had a few weeks ago if I'm the Barracudas, especially with Gababy and Nano. I'm looking for a lot of demos. I'm looking to catch that last guy out so often, make that net as open as it possibly can be, because they're just not stopping us in time. Kickoff will be in favor of the Barracudas, but Potato will end up taking the full length of the field. And we have a little bit of a pressure fight situation in the midfield now.
Ball high and way back on the field. Maybe rotates up. And the ball is not going to be cleared that much. In fact, Potato just says thank you, takes it, pushes it right in front of the goal, but there is no follow-up. It's Nano, and look at that! Oh my goodness!
We can see the defenders from the Barracudas here kind of doing the fast and furious drive-by. It's been a long time, but Sketch will find the back of the net here off of a coordination mistake from the Barracudas.
Yeah, that was almost a bit too well coordinated, like a circus clown car chase, just them all going around in a circle. Works out for the Hammerheads. The Barracuda's going to try to even it up. It's not going to go through. Protato now has control off the corner. Excuse me, Cat's just going to demo him before he can take the shot. So now maybe more demos from the Barracudas, especially that one onto Essentially, means they are now serious in wanting to equalize this. Shot on goal, saved by Protato. Nano with the follow-up. It goes going right past him. Big opening for Protato. Now just has to play around Crazy Cat. Is able to juke him out. Gababy comes in for the last attempt at the clear. And Nano with the pop off the roof is going to be able to facilitate a clear and a shot on goal. Excuse me, a goal for the Barracudas.
No one back for the Hammerheads here. A drop down from Gababy over to Nano. He just takes the shot. What happened to Boss? Oh, he got bumped. Exactly what I was talking about. You can see they were relying on one last defender, and the Barracuda's third man coming in and taking that defender out. Leaves the net as open as it could be. Again, they didn't cut off the passing play. They relied on that third defender. It just won't work out if they're playing for demos and bumps. And now a 1-1 scoreline here. With 3 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock, we have a battle ahead of us. Protato passes it in front of his own net, barely finds a way out with the help of his teammate Sketch. Crazy Cat looks for the flick mid. No one there to respond yet. Gababy is actually going to beat Boss. Looks for the touch off the wall back to himself. Does get past one, but a double commit from the Hammerheads gives Nano plenty of time to defuse the play as they have to move back down onto defense.
Protato with the shot toward the goal, just a bit narrow. Bounces off the post. The ball is going to be in the corners yet again for the Hammerheads. Protato has played around Crazy Cat. Gets a touch on it, deflected by Gababy. Nano, another tap off of the wall for the clear. Sketch manages to push back past midfield, goes for the double touch. It's going to be stopped again by Crazy Cat.
Nano, seeing he has time, leaves it for Gababy, who alps for the fake. Nano taking towards the wall himself. Looks for the play around one, doesn't get past Protato. A bad 50-50 from Protato will lead to a goal in favor of Crazy Cat. It'll go the full length of the field, just not quite lined up correctly when he went for this 50-50 here. We can see, didn't see Crazy Cat coming in, so he went for the shot, and it just wasn't safe enough that he left the whole half of the ball, able to be pinched out and towards the back of the net. And that will lead to a lead for the Barracudas, but not a strong enough one that the Hammerheads are out of this yet. There's a little bit less than half of a game left on the clock. Protato would like to lead the charge back into this game for his team, but it will be blocked by Gababy as he looks to extend his lead once more and secure their grand finals victory.
Demo onto Sketch. Is Nano going to be able to dunk it down? He isn't, but Crazy Cat has the follow-up, aims it right in the upper left corner. Now the Barracudas have a 2-goal lead.
Gababy with the pass off the ceiling, working together with Nano with the 50-50. Crazy Cat will just respond a little bit faster to Protato and find the chink in the armor in the top corner, resulting in a 3-1 lead in favor of the Barracudas. 2 minutes left on the clock. Only 2 goals needed for the Hammerheads. They're not out of it yet. Gababy willing to extend that lead a little further, though, with a pass out mid. Essentially, will cut it off, however. 50-50 in favor of the Barracudas. Back to the far corner. Drop down from Barracuda's defense or offense will lead in favor of Essentially Boss. Plays it off in the corner. Protato barely gets 50-50 dunked by Gababy. But ultimately, the Hammerheads will find their way out here. Essentially Boss leading the way as he tries to make room for Protato to score, but Sketch can't quite make it happen. And now a full-length clear, and Essentially Boss will not be able to get there in time. A 4-1 lead in favor of the Barracudas. The defense just kind of falling apart right now for the Hammerheads. No one home. Good recognition from Gababy will lead to a 4-1 lead in favor of the Barracudas.
Seems pretty done and solid at this point, but the Hammerheads have shown us that they can rally. We'll see how they do. Gababy off of the ceiling. You also see Nano with a bit of disruption in the goal, trying to clear it out. The shot on goal is going to be too high to capitalize on that. Gababy pass back over to Essentially. Sketch elevates up, and a shot way back over to a Barracuda's quarter. Because it's pretty straight, Gababy has no problem just shooting that back into the Hammerheads territory. Crazy Cat isn't able to set it up for anybody, so Sketch with Protatoes clears it back to the shot on goal and manages to slide it in.
They're not quite done yet. A high pass from Sketch over to Potato, who takes the shot. A long shot from the midfield towards the back of the net. No contact from Nano or Baby will mean that we're not quite done with the game yet. A minute left for 2 goals is definitely possible, but it is still quite the feat. They have to keep the pressure on. They really need some pop-off moments. Beaten. Almost finds back of the net immediately for Barracudas. Oh, a breakaway opportunity here for Nano, but he ends up barely just getting in the way. Sketch keeping it close, gets past one, could be an opportunity, and it's there. A good pass. Essentially, Boss will follow it up and find a goal for himself with the help of Sketch playing it off the wall. A little bit of miscoordination from the Barracudas. A double commit on that play will give them the opportunity. It didn't doom them yet. The third defender still didn't make contact, but 40 seconds left on the clock to find 1 goal is definitely looking favorable for the Hammerheads. The Barracudas have to be a little bit more conscientious of who they have going for the ball already. Sketch willing to try to find that mistake once more. Takes the shot from the corner. No one makes contact from the pass back to self-set shot here from Sketch off the corner. Baby just not able to get the read, so Sketch takes the shot into the upper 90 and will find us a even scoreline, maybe threatening an overtime with 30 seconds left on the clock.
Just 30 seconds ago at the 50 mark, Barracudas were ahead 3 shots. So basically a goal every 10 seconds for the Hammerheads has put them into the equalizing position. Protato's going to get the demo onto Gababy. That opens things up for the Hammerheads. They're driving up the field, passing each other, and Gababy steals it away from them. Very well probably going to go into the first overtime of the night, unless we have a buzzer beater here set up by the Hammerheads. It's up in the air possibility. Essentially, he's going to try to keep that alive, but unfortunately for him, it goes off to the corner. Does take an odd bounce off the corner and doesn't hit the ground. So Hammerheads still have an opportunity, and now we are officially going into overtime.
All the goals scored before, all 8 no longer matter. We're in a golden goal situation. Essentially, Boss looks for the flip reset, gets past one, but Crazy Cat is in the way. Potato takes a shot, but is blocked by Crazy Cat as well. Sketch takes a shot as well, but is this time able to get past Crazy Cat. Baby takes the launch out to the corner towards Nano. Nano will clear it off towards the wall, plays it towards himself off the wall, but is not able to make any real contact. The shot towards the back. Baby is not quite able to make it happen. No, a team pinch. A team pinch from the Hammerheads will spell disaster, and they will lose this overtime after such a well-fought comeback. Essentially, Boss and Sketch just not on the same page, it seems. They pinch it back towards their own net. The ball was rolling away. All they had to do was be patient, but it will go in favor of Barracudas. Despite the comeback from the Hammerheads, Barracudas will win this game, putting them in a match point situation, even though they didn't have even all the shots this game.
Yeah, if you look at the shots on goal and just how things turned out this game, the Barracudas just barely eked that out. Almost seemed like a game they had no business of winning, but they just blew a very large lead, and the Hammerheads are now going to have a very tough gauntlet to face. They got to win 3 games in a row to reset the bracket and drive us to another best of 7. But now, as we have seen, both these teams are going to be going into the 5th match. This is the match point for the Barracudas. What's the one thing that you think they most need to improve if they want to close things out tonight?
I think both teams are very guilty of this right now, but I think if we're just focusing on the Hammerheads, I would say coordination is key. Coordination has cost them so many goals in this series already. That last one could have cost them a whole game. I mean, they were in a golden goal situation. So I think most of all, whatever you need to get that coordination back to a team level, that's what you got to do right now, whether that's communication, whether that's using quick chat of all things, or whether that's just taking more time to look ahead and see who's on the field in front of you. You have to find a way to work better, more fluidly as a team. Otherwise, you're going to have goals like that all the rest of the series.
Barracudas now find themselves at match point to win the tournament. Will they be able to seal the deal, or will the Hammerheads start a 3-game winning streak to reset the bracket? Let's find out as we head down to the field. The timer counts down. I appreciate the watermelon skin from Nano. We've seen that from him every now and then. We'll see if it brings the Barracudas luck.
Nano has decided he's done playing around. He pulled out the watermelon skin. He's going to win this series. So far, Crazy Cat trying to lead the way, but Sketch will find a way out with it. Potato takes a long clear downfield. Baby stands in his way, takes a high clear towards his own corner, maybe to Crazy Cat, but instead just will cut instead. Potato looking for a demo. He finds one demo, a miss from Crazy Cat, an opportunity for Sketch. He'll take it towards the corner. No one has rotated back by yet, but the pass is just a little too slow to pounce on that opportunity. Baby able to clear it out a little longer. Nano takes it towards the other corner on the opposite end of the field. Sketch will not make contact. Sketch whiffs entirely on the wall. It'll roll in front of the net. Nano just has to pop it in. Just a misread from Sketch. Maybe thought he had more time. Who knows? Really, a number of things he could have done. He just didn't quite make contact. It will lead to an easy goal for the Barracudas. Not looking so good for the Hammerheads right now. I believe the Hammerheads haven't scored the first goal in any of these games yet.
But that's been a comfortable position for them. They've definitely shown that they can equalize this pretty darn fast. Going forward, we have about a minute elapsed in Game 5. Baby gonna head back on midfield, get a slight touch on it, keep it in Hammerhead territory, tries to dunk it down into the goal, just bounces off the crossbar and is not gonna find it.
Sketch, pass to, Nano looks for the demo, Crazy Cat plays it into his own corner, so Potato will get the bump and actually try to clear it out, but he won't be able to. Essentially, Boss, ooh, barely outplayed. Barracudas holding strong. A breakaway goal here actually in favor of Sketch. Finds the chink in the armor, but this time the chink is all the way on his own end of the field. Looks like some coordination issues. Crazy Cat flipped away. Looks like some arguments over boosts. 1-1 scoreline with 3 minutes and 35 left on the clock. No clear victor yet. Oh, an almost own goal from Nano. Looks like the corners, the side posts of the net have been the scariest positions for both teams at this point.
Ball isn't going to be cleared and instead is kept in Hammerhead territory by Barracudas, thanks to Crazy Cat. Sketch with a slight touch, continues the ball off into the corner. Potato's going to duck back. They slow play this. Hammerheads now set it up in front of the goal. Follow up by Potato. One touch, two. And Dano just barely manages to push it off to the side.
Boss hits it towards the back of the net. Baby keeping it close. Potato looks for a shot of his own, but it will not be good to keep it to himself. Potato towards the back wall. Boss has a little bit of time. He gets it past one. Nano with the big clear over to Crazy Cat. He will make contact after Potato, however, who beats out one, and then two. Crazy Cat keeps it in the corner to himself a little longer, but Sketch will get the bounce and try to push it into the enemy end of the field. The Crazy Cat playing the midfield a little slow, giving it over to Nano. Now Nano can look for a solo play. Does get the tap off the back wall. A shot from the Barracudas, blocked at the last minute by the Hammerheads. Baby playing it slow in the corner, and he has to reset the play entirely as Sketch will win the 50 outs towards the wall.
2 minutes left in this fight, and both teams remain tied one apiece. 50-50 in favor of the Barracudas. Actually, no, it's in favor of the Hammerheads, excuse me. Barracudas looking for that clear. Nano gets played over right in front of the goal. An attempted dunk by Sketch, not going to go through. That's an opening for the Barracudas. They pushed it right up toward the Hammerheads goal. Baby, unfortunately for him, though, is out of very low on boost, so he isn't able to keep playing the way he wanted to. He used all of it right there. And there's no follow-up on that shot, meaning the Hammerheads have ample time to clear this back out. Essentially, is going to do that, although he does pay for it with being demoed. Ball is grounded again. Goes right over Potato. Gababy trying to clear out the goal, and the shot doesn't go through.
Pass in front of the net. Sketch able to get it out before Gababy's there. Gababy plays it past Sketch. Demo on to Gababy. Will give Potato time, but a bump away. Give pressure back to Crazy Cat. Plays it in the corner back to himself. Doesn't make contact. Nano has to get away of essentially Boss. Not quite able to. Steals the boost from him instead. Rotates the back post. Gababy playing it slow. Maybe going to give it away towards Nano, but Potato will cut it off. He wants an opportunity here. The ball rolls in front of the net, but Sketch will not be able to get past Gababy. And we're playing the midfield a little longer. Essentially, Boss goes for the clear, gets it into his far corner, and maybe able to make another touch on it, but it's unable to beat out Barracuda's offense. A little bit of a double commit off the wall from Nano and Gababy. Not what you're looking for there. Potato will pounce on it, find a way out. Baby not able to get the clear. Sketch takes the shot, and a 2-1 lead for the Hammerheads with only 24 seconds left on the clock. This could spell disaster for the Barracudas, though they still have plenty of lives left and plenty of time to score one more goal, maybe force another overtime. But right now, the Hammerheads feeling good. Only have 24 seconds to hold that lead, and they will find their second victory in this series.
Back around the corner. Hammerheads need to tie this up. Remember, a tie here would help them just close out the tournament right here, right now. Thanks to that last goal by the Hammerheads, it looks like we are going to be going on to the next game, and Hammerheads still hanging on, showing a bit of life. Ball's going to hit the ground, and that's going to do it for this game. Unless there's one last-minute play by the Barracudas, if they can keep it up in the air. Ball's just going to be grounded there, and that is going to be another win for the Hammerheads. Their second, and very even stats for that game, reflected in a very close 2-1 score. Hammerheads finding just enough to keep their chances alive.
You can see boost used and side control is actually the only two stats that are in favor of the Barracudas here out of 3, and yet they were so even.
Barracudas, a multitude of times, have found themselves with comfortable leads. They're in a comfortable lead now in terms of overall games won in this match, but they seem to be having a bit of trouble trying to close it out. Why is that?
Well, I think my guess is it's going to go back to coordination. A lot of it's punishing mistakes over and over again. They've had a couple times where they've had really good opportunities to exchange pressure, but they're just not quite working well enough together, specifically on the defensive end. On the offensive end, they definitely seem like they're more comfortable, but I think they're going to have to get more creative. Like I said, the games where they felt the more pressuring are those 2 games they first won. They were looking for a lot more demos. They were punishing that last man standing kind of mentality for Hammerhead's defense, and I think you have to go back to that. You have to put pressure on them. If they're not worried about who's driving behind their back at all times, then they're going to feel pretty comfortable in the state that they're in.
Next game going to start out in favor of the Barracudas slightly. Potato gets demoed. That leaves the Barracudas with a lot of breathing room to try to push it toward the goal. Essentially is going to drive it back to midfield. Tap by Potato, keeps it up in the corner. And it is centered right in front of the goal. Very slow. Nano and Crazy Cat double commit to just get the ball out of their side of the field. Barracuda is looking a little bit scared by that opening volley.
Good baby. Clear out towards his corner. Nano following up. Takes the 50-50 and wins it. Has a little bit of space. Potato gets the 50-50 and pushes it towards his own quarter. Nano looking for the bump. Maybe bumps into Crazy Cat too. Down Go Baby, just trying to slow down the play, give his team a little bit of time to rotate back, gets the 50-50, will demo Go Baby, but will win out in favor of Crazy Cat. Potato hits it towards his own corner, trying to find a way out before there's even any shots taken, and he does. Sketch now responsible for getting past 1. He does get past the 1, has to get past 1 more. He does find the back of the net, the full length of the field, and I believe a bump onto the Barracuda defender is partially what made that happen. Oh no, his Potato just simply made Go Baby jump early. He wasn't able to respond back in time. Sketch barely able to get into the back of the net.
Shot on toward the Barracuda's goal by the Hammerheads, and plenty of time for them to follow up on that kickoff. Shot is high, bounces off the backboard. Follow up from centrally, almost places it in. It's a nice attempt by the Hammerheads. They definitely seem like they have a lot of momentum right now. Nano pushes it back and is unable to clear that past the midfield goal, leaving it open for Sketch and Potato. Sketch waterfalls it down. And Hammerheads have so much new life right now.
The momentum is in their favor. They're feeling good. Sketch takes a shot from the sidewall. You can see a really good shot, but no one in net. Good baby having to rush back and just won't quite make contact. The Hammerheads will find what I believe is their first 2-0 lead in the entirety of the series. They finally have that security goal.
It's definitely a reversal of fortunes, and Nano can't find his shot on goal. Hammerheads maintain with a comfortable position, not allowing the Barracudas to get past midfield that many times. This is going to be one of them, but it's quickly defused by Potato. He moves over to the corner. Nano is a bit slow to contest that, meaning the Hammerheads are able to reposition themselves, allow one to move in. That's going to be Sketch. He's unable to center. Potato now shot towards the goal, cleared by Crazy Cat. Now the Barracudas are going to try to start something and maybe get their first goal.
Off the wall. Towards Sketch. Sketch plays it downfield. Almost a shot opportunity, but ends up leaving it, thinking the Barracudas have the play. Gets past one. Crazy Cat almost has an open net here. 50-50 from Sketch will go in favor, however, of the Hammerheads. A demo on to Nano will alleviate some space. Sketch is now looking for the solo play. Past one, past two. It rolls up, and it will go in. The sidebar working in favor of Sketch today. He is able to find this loose shot. You can see Potato making a baby jump early again. Forces him to take an unfavorable attempt to stop the ball. Potato is kind of all over the offensive end of the Barracudas right now, just making sure that they're always nervous. This is the strategy I talked about for punishing these kind of last-ditch effort attempts, but this time Potato is using it to punish the aggressiveness from the Barracudas.
Now it's a position the Barracudas haven't necessarily found themselves in, behind 3 goals, and essentially it's going to play it around 2, played around 1, demo the other. That's going to be Nano. Maybe the only one left is able to try to clear it on his own, but Hammerheads read it and clear it back.
Nano playing 50-50 with Sketch. One out in favor of Hammerheads. A bad touch from Good Baby, but it will go down to Crazy Cat and keep it together a little longer. Essentially, Boss plays it to himself. A demo from Potato on to Nano. Almost it opens an opportunity, but the double commit for the Barracudas will make up for it. Sketch able to get past one. He has an opportunity here. He has to get it out mid-fast, but he's not able to. Nano is able to get there first. Looks for the clear from the ceiling. Potato's in the way, but Good Baby will beat him out. An opportunity here only stopped by essentially Boss. Potato is able to get past one, and Nano has the ball to himself. Opts with a big clear down to Baby, who gets the redirect towards the net, and Sketch will find a way out. A little bit of a double commit with Potato there into the back of the net. Essentially, Boss having to get past one more.
Crazy Cat gets his shot deflected at the last moment. The Baby shot goes way high up, not toward the goal at all, and the follow-up, he isn't able to elevate up quick enough. Crazy Cat just ran out of boost at the most inopportune moment, left him 1 pixel too low. This means the Hammerheads now looking at probably driving this to a game 7. Managing to find a way to stage not a reverse sweep, but darn near close. Crazy Cat is going to try to clear this up, push it down into the goal. The Hammerheads are just there waiting for him.
Baby hits it over to Nano, doesn't quite make contact. Looks like Baby might have disconnected for a second. No, he's disconnected all the way. He's just sitting there. Potato able to clear it out, but Baby's not there to respond to it. Boss hits towards the quarter. Nano's up. Baby will get demoed. Now Potato has a little bit of space, knowing that there's one less player on the field. A block from the Hammerheads. Not quite able to do anything. Nano looks to get past one, but a patient Sketch will find the way out. Maybe another goal opportunity here for essentially Boss, and they will work together for Potato to get past the last defender. A little bit of an unfortunate DC on Gababy, but I mean, I think, honestly, that this game might have been pretty sealed. 4-0 lead, 6 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, normally the rules are normally the rules are if you once a 1 goal is scored, it is fair game from then on out, and you can't really close or force a reset at this point in time. So the Hammerheads are going to win that. We're going to give some time for the Barracudas to reconnect, and what a difference in terms of the shots on goal. That's probably the most in favor it's been for the Hammerheads.
And I look at the accolades, that's the most involved that I've seen Sketch on some of these bigger plays. He definitely popped off in that game 6, going into game 7. So if the Hammerheads win this one, we play another game 7, right?
Yep, it's a bracket reset, and it goes to another best of 7. And Barracudas were facing this at a match point all the way back in game 4.
Yeah.
And they had an opportunity where they were 3 goals ahead in one particular game, but it just seems at the very last moment there were mistakes creeping up here and there that are keeping the Barracudas from getting those crucial final plays to end it.
Yeah, mind you, in that game where they were ahead 3 goals and they gave up that lead, they still ended up winning, but only off of a severe misplay from the Hammerheads. It just feels like something's not working for them right now. I'm not necessarily sure exactly what it is, because besides maybe some coordination stuff, but even then, right at the end there, it's kind of hard to tell. They need to get something together. Maybe it's a little bit, the mental's not quite in the right place. But who knows? It's all speculation at this point. They have to give credit to Hammerheads, however, for coming back this far from this far of a deficit. It's pretty hard to keep your mental in play long enough to make that happen.
Well, they wanted a revenge against the team that beat them in the winners finals, and this is their one chance to get it. We head into the final game, Game 7 of the best of 7. Both teams tied at 3 wins apiece. It is going to be decided here. Will the tournament end, or will a bracket reset be in the cards?
Looks like we have all of the Barracudas back and ready to play. Good thing, too, they will need Gababy to stay relevant in this Game 7. Protato looks for the redirect, but does not get past Crazy Cat. A bad clear for Crazy Cat. Almost give Protato a second chance at a shot. Sketch will play it towards the wall. Not quite able to do anything else with it. Past one. Protato's up to take the shot, and the 50-50 just doesn't quite work out. Protato not able to be there yet. Essentially Boss off the wall. Protato will cut in, bump Gababy, giving a little bit of time to Sketch. Sketch with the 50-50 will go in favor of Crazy Cat, who takes the shot, but Boss is there off the sidewall, back to himself, does not quite make contact. Protato has time. He is beaten out, however. Nano playing it to himself, over to Crazy Cat, pop off the high wall. Gababy up for the shot. He will find it. No contact from the Hammerheads, just relying a little bit too late on their last defenders. Just not quite sure who was going for it, or just too late of a response. Looks like playing the middle of the net, they're not the safest position to play. When playing defense, you want to be that front or back post, but middle of the net is not in fact where a post lies.
Nano pushes it off to the side. Sketch grounds it, but it's not to a teammate, it's to Gababy. Use it for Crazy Cat. Protato comes out of nowhere, however. Just bombs it right back toward Barracuda's goal. Looking for that equalizer, and essentially Boss is going to have to look a little bit longer. So this shot is deflected. A demo is going to go out onto Nano, but Barracudas were still in progress of their original clear, so it's not going to hurt them too much. Maybe it will. Sketch is able to play around and almost tries to solo that into the goal.
He's almost able to. Crazy Cat and Crazy Cat and Gababy were both up for that. Not able to make anything of it though, however. Boss looks at 50-50, but it's beat by Gababy, who plays it around 2. Sketch towards the corner. Protato playing it off the wall, past Crazy Cat, underneath for that matter. Protato pitches it mid, not able to do anything else with it. Maybe looks for a solo play after collecting some boost. A demo onto the last man, but will not end up working. Crazy Cat passes it over to Protato. Almost an opportunity there for the Hammerheads to get their first goal in Game 7. Gababy playing it slow to himself, into the far corner. Essentially Boss, keeping it close. Now Protato and Sketch, figuring out who has control. Sketch goes for the flick. Protato playing it slow, leaves it for Boss, who calls him off. Not able to make anything of it. A lot of ping pong in the midfield right now.
Shot from Protato, saved by Crazy Cat, and Barracudas are holding on to their 1-goal lead quite gingerly. This follow-up by Protato is just a bit too far right. Follow-up by another shot on goal by Protato is just saved by Gababy. Look at the total shots on goal, despite the Barracudas having a 1-goal lead. It's been the Hammerheads who have just been pelting shot after shot at the Barracudas' goal. 6 so far, and they rotate a little too far up. Almost get punished for that. With shot on goal by Gababy. They're going to live to fight another day. Still try to tie this up.
Boss playing it slow, back to himself over Crazy Cat. Gababy has space, he makes a play of his own. Does actually have Nano intercede. Looks for the shot towards the back of the net, will not make contact. Only a minute 40 left on the clock for the Hammerheads to find the back of the net, even just once to force an overtime. Sketch 50-50s, but loses. It'll go to Boss. Hits it back downfield, who just rolls it out to Crazy Cat. Puts it towards the far corner. Sketch looking for a play, but he gets demoed. This could be an opportunity. Two demos for Crazy Cat. Only has to give us 1 and a second goal. Gababy seeing the opportunity, the space made by Crazy Cat. He found Sketch, and he found Protato in one sweep. And now Gababy finds the upper corner, pushing them to a 2-0 lead against the Hammerheads in Game 7.
The Hammerheads have faced worse. They were facing a 3-goal deficit with about the same amount of time 2 games ago, and they managed to tie that up, and they might just do it again, but that shot is going to be saved by Crazy Cat. Sketch is going to try again, try to play around Gababy, unable to. Baby just holding on to the saves, already has 3 for this round, doing a good job.
Sketch off the wall, back to himself, hits it low. 50-50 from both Barracudas players will pinch out. 3 players for the Barracudas sitting in the middle of the field. Essentially, Boss looking for a shot here. Has to go for the pass. There's no angle. He does get the pass out, but nobody's there. Nobody was ready for some reason. Essentially, Boss takes the shot. Ooh. And again, those side posts working just so well for the Hammerhead specifically in the series. Another lucky bounce will find its way in. A good shot altogether, however, recognizing the open part of the net. And that will put them in a situation where they're not quite dead yet. They have 44 seconds to find 1 goal. They've done a whole lot more and a whole lot less.
Demo on to Gababy from Protato. That's during a mid-clear by the Barracudas. Hammerheads with quite a dribble, essentially, with a huge solo play, putting them back into tie.
Essentially, Boss gets the play around one and then the flick around the other. And the third man just was not quite ready. Essentially, Boss not taking kindly to the jokes about his name in the chat. He's willing to carry his way into an overtime situation. 24 seconds left on the clock. Plays it around one. Crazy Cat not able to do anything else with it. Opportunity here for Potato, makes the double touch happen. No, he doesn't. Essentially, Boss will cut in. He'll find a hat trick for himself. You can see he's putting in all the work in Game 7. And now the Barracudas just kind of in shambles. They have no pressure. We've seen they've... Oh, and Crazy Cat just left the match.
Yeah, sometimes enough is enough. And that is most decidedly going to give us a bracket reset, head us into another best-of-7 match. All the timer needs to do is tick down to 0 unless Nano and Gababy can make it happen. And that's going to be it. Hammerheads managed to tie that all up, get the win in the last moment, force a bracket reset, and we got another match on our hands.
Yeah, hopefully all things are good in the mental side of things for both teams going into a very stressful game or set 2.
Well, you know, going at it alone can only get you so far. Ultimately, if you want to increase your chances of success, you have to level up your teaming skills. We kind of saw that, but the inverse for the Barracudas and what can happen when you don't have good teaming skills. So you want to avoid that. You want to get the best advice, and some of the best advice you can get is Esports Tower. Esports Tower takes the time to create teams of well-matched teammates. Shout out to Coach Dake, and for those of you who haven't checked out Esports Tower clubs, you should. It's the fast track to rank up. Well, the Hammerheads barely stay alive as the Barracudas force a win, taking the bracket reset game. So we're going to have another best-of-7 match to decide who gets the championship. But before we go to break, do you have any thoughts you want to throw?
I think everyone on both sides needs to take a mental reset. It was definitely looking a lot better for the Hammerheads right at the end there, but the mistakes are still there. And the Barracudas, they have a name for themselves, but they need to reset, get their mentals right back in place. I don't know if the Crazy Cat thing was a part of that, but just make sure that you come into this next set like it was game 1 of the first series, and you're just playing to do the best you possibly can.
All right, we'll throw it to a quick break and be back with the second match to decide who will be the overall champion. You are not going to want to miss it.
Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Protecting your customer journey from fraud is critical. According to industry analysts, Count's AI-driven platform is the leading solution. From account login to digital payments, Count is recognized for both its customer impact and technology excellence. Learn more at Count.com.
We're going to build bridges and hospitals in a day. We're going to save families from disaster and feed those left in the cold. We invite you to join us. The next greatest generation is now.
Welcome back to this week's broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble in Rocket League, broadcasting from the Boise State Esports Arena. We are in our grand finals of the Rocket League Rumble. The Hammerheads have just forced us to a bracket reset. Can they force another win, or will the Barracudas refocus and claim the title? I'm still your host, Jacob Palmer, joined by Joe Chickbrow to call all of the action for you tonight. And we'll have plenty to say about the match tonight. Before we get into that, we want to take a moment and give a bit of recognition to some of the former members of Esports Tower who have just graduated. We'll take a moment to congratulate all of the Esports Tower club members who have graduated from the clubs and been offered scholarships across the country. Over the last 3 months, Esports Tower club members have received over $3.6 million in scholarship awards. These students have not only worked hard on their in-game play, but hard academically and earned these scholarship opportunities. These players who have received these scholarships are talented, hardworking, and driven. We could not be more excited and proud to see the opportunities these players are getting. All right, so now we have a chance to kind of reset everything, set the stage, and Barracudas were kind of going into this match the favored team. They had already beaten the Hammerheads, but it seemed just multiple issues kept cropping their heads up, and the Hammerheads played the long game to overall force the bracket reset.
Yeah, overall, we don't know all of what's going on. We don't know what's going on with the comms for either team or like the mentality, but definitely if there's any advice we can offer, have to have a reset moment for both these teams now. It's like, okay, we got through the first, if you're the Hammerheads, we got through the first series. Now let's just stick to the A game that was working before. Let's clean up a little bit, make sure we're coordinated, and we'll rock through this. And the Barracudas just need a mental reset, and they didn't remember that, hey, we're a strong team. We just got to work together, we've got to communicate really well, and we'll come out on top.
Well, that's Joe's advice, but we have advice from Doc Haskell as well. These players are going to want to follow. That's create mistakes, punish overcommits, play off the walls better, and demo to disrupt. Doc's Keys to the Game brought to us by Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, and improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. We're ready to head into the best-of-7 match here. Hammerheads are looking to close this out. Now they have all the momentum in their favor. Barracudas, I don't know what they're facing, but whatever they is, you were right. They're going to have to reset, maybe take into account Doc's Keys to the Game during that reset, or just find whatever time they can to just take a breather, work as a team, and show us some of the gameplay that they opened up this match with and got them to such a big leads. We're ready to head into the first game of the second best-of-7, still in the grand final between these two teams. The Hammerheads force the bracket reset. It's a winner-take-all best-of-7 to determine the grand finals.
Right off the bat. Kickoff in favor of the Hammerheads. They'll push past Baby. Boss playing it off in the corner. Potato taking it off his own play, looking for a play out mid, maybe to a pass. Potato over to Sketch. Sketch is barely beating the ball roll towards the Hammerheads corner. He kicks it out to Sketch. Sketch is beaten by Nano. Pressure in favor of the Barracudas right now, but Potato is able to fight a pitch out over to Crazy Cat. Sketch is able to be up first, however, and push it off the wall into the midfield. It's just not quite good enough. Nano will find a way out, blocked only by essentially Boss.
Nano with the demo onto Sketch, essentially Boss, looking to save from the clear. Potato moves forward, centers it, and Gababy just with a slight deflect off to the side. That's going to be enough to save them and keep them at a scoreless tie.
Nano towards the wall. Pass up from essentially Boss. Pushing it downfield. Potato towards the wall, maybe back to himself. Looks for the shot. It's high and out. Sketch will have to play 50-50s here. He does end up letting the Barracudas get the first half. Plays round one, almost plays round two. Crazy Cat towards his own net. Oh, what a gamble. Barely saved at the last minute by Nano. Essentially Boss keeping the pressure on, pushing it towards this corner. Sketch is there, looks for the play round one, gets past one, has one more to get past, but oh, actually, Gababy will pinball Sketch, taking the shot towards the back of the net, only with the help of Gababy here. Probably would have had it regardless. Looks like Nano was a little bit slow, but Gababy panicked and maybe tried to demo, and he just didn't quite get it. Not quite working out in favor of Barracudas. Hammerheads taking a lead. They have not taken the lead too often since we've seen them play today out of both series. But they have right now, or taking the first goal, I mean. But they're doing it right now. Potato towards his own wall. Off the play from Nano. Pushing towards the wall. Maybe looking for a pass out mid, but looks like the pressure will just, no, it won't quite traverse yet. As the Hammerheads barely make it out.
Set up for Sketch, and looks like he was trying to clear that one, but that clear just turned into more of a setup for the other team.
Yeah, it did not quite work out.
Potato, actually. My bad.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a little hard to tell on that play. Just no one quite able to make contact, but from the Barracudas. But a good shot altogether and a good pass from the Hammerheads will push them into a comfortable position coming into the last 3 minutes. Potato tipping it up a little higher for Sketch. Plays it around one. Gababy's last man standing. Taps it down. This is bad news. Boss can take the shot anywhere, but does take a low roller, so Gababy is able to get back in time. Potato playing it off the wall. Taps it down to Boss, who does get demoed. That will relieve pressure a little longer. A pass out to Gababy with a shot, but Sketch is able to block. Boss playing third man. Sketch hitting it downfield. Gababy is up. He's going to catch Boss out of play a little bit, but Gababy's not quite able to get the flip reset pointed in the right direction. So Potato will pass down over to Boss, who has all the time in the world. He hits it towards the backward option for Potato here, but ends up leaving it. So the clear will go out to Sketch. A 50-50 on Sketch Nano, but it will go in favor of the Barracudas. Just a little bit slow from Sketch. You can see he just reacted a little bit slowly, so Nano hit it past one, passed it towards the wall, towards Gababy, who then takes the shot into the back of the net. No one quite there.
We are almost a little bit, we are actually more than halfway through this match. Potato is now going to dribble it up the field. I think Bakasmat is just glitching out a little bit, either that or we have had a disconnect.
We have had a disconnect. It looks like from the chat logs from an admin that we are going to see a drift pop in for Crazy Cat at some point. Following, I don't know what the exact rules are for Esports Tower, but if it follows normal league play rules for RLCS, a drift will have to be joining after this game, which means that the Hammerheads are in a really comfortable position, probably coming out on top of game one. But we'll have to see what ends up happening. So far, with 1:30 left on the clock, Hammerheads lead the way with not a lot of pressure in their face right now. Gababy just kind of has to play several different roles at once. Potato is up to take the shot, but Nano will be blocked out. Sketch Plays it around one, gets the 50-50. Potato will play it as well, leave it over for Boss. Sketch takes it towards the wall. Nano's just fighting the remaining control of the play, because if they give it up, they give up a goal for sure. Now Potato off the wall, back to himself. Looks for the tap, doesn't get it. Boss had the shot, barely blocked by Gababy, using all his boost to be in the way. Potato keeping the play alive. Nano hitting it towards the back of the net, and honestly, for a 2v3 so far, the Barracudas are doing pretty well.
But it still seems like the Hammerheads, as long as they don't get too careless, are going to be able to get a first victory, which would put them in a much different position. Clear is going to go back toward the goal, doesn't get it. Instead bounces off the sidebar. They try to dribble it up, Nano saves it, essentially pushes it off to the corner again.
You can see the Barracudas actually almost found a way into an overtime here, but didn't quite make contact with it yet. Boss will tap it down, takes it back to himself, not able to make contact. Potato will hit past one. Only one more player to play past. Potato has to beat Gababy, does not quite. He'll hit towards the wall. But with 5 seconds and the countdown happening on the clock, the Hammerheads are sitting pretty comfortably, winning game number 1. And if the chat logs are correct, we should be seeing Gababy, Nano, and Adrift attempt to close out this series and get the momentum shifting in their favor going into game 2. We'll have to see how that changes anything for Barracudas. Crazy Cat wasn't in the game for very long, but still no accolades to his name. A lot in favor of Nano and Gababy, mostly because they had to be kind of everywhere for a while there, so can't really attribute that too much to Crazy Cat. However, Sketch doing a really good job of playing offense. You can see his shot to goal differential wasn't that good, but he was keeping pressure on for most of the game, so at least he had them strangled on that mark.
And this is the time where you're kind of left at a little bit of a loss for words, because normally we'd kind of try to analyze the gameplay, but if someone disconnects kind of midway into the match, then there isn't really as much you can glean from what just happened.
No, definitely not. And that's definitely, whether or not it's an attitude or a connection thing, I'm going to say it's a connection thing, obviously, that it gets that we lose Crazy Cat for. It's just not the feeling you want, especially after losing game 1 and losing all those games before. If you're the Barracudas right now, you're looking for a little bit of fluidity. You need to get back into a rhythm, right? That way you can come back on top of these games. But if you can't get that rhythm back, if you can't have the team that you've been playing with for now 8 games, it's going to feel a little bit more stressful. You've got to figure stuff out. We don't even know how warmed up Adrift is coming into this game 3. So
that's probably the biggest question, is how well can he slot into the team? When for the Barracudas, the main thing that has been plaguing them has been team play. So maybe Adrift is more of a natural fit. We'll just have to see. Right now, Potato is going to try to get the clear, but Adrift comes in, is going to deny him the clear, plays it right over him, back toward the Hammerheads' goal. Almost looked like it was going to head in. The Hammerheads managed to save. Now have a breakaway play here to get the shot on goal. Off the backboard, double touch, and Potato gets the first goal.
Sketch taking it the full length of the field, able to body it past all 3 defenders. Potato recognizing the opportunity to go for a double tap here. Maybe could have just taken the shot, but he went the safe route, went for the outplay on Gababy. He does get it. Hammerheads lead by 1. I believe this is maybe only the 3rd time that they've actually led, despite winning most of the games. Sketch taps it down for Gababy. Takes it towards the corner. Nano rotates out. Gababy taps it down for Fender, and Adrift will find the back of the net. No Hammerheads in the way. We'll be at a 0-0 scoreline with, I believe, 4 minutes and 13 still left on the clock.
Yeah, plenty of time now. The game has practically been reset. Just have to run it back. 4 minutes, 25 seconds, so even more than we thought. Kickoff in favor of Gababy. Adrift follow-up to the corner. Adrift is playing really fast around the Hammerheads right now.
I think it's fair to say that Adrift feels, or at least looks, pretty warmed up right now. He's slotting in pretty well. Even the play from Gababy here, kind of working together really well. Gababy taps it out to himself, but Adrift doesn't seem to be having as many issues as someone might think coming in brand new to this team after 8 games.
4 minutes, 10 seconds left. Nano makes it to the ball first. Gababy now with the air dribble. Double tap, triple. Heads right back toward midfield. Drift stops it. Demo onto Gababy. Gababy is able to respawn. Off the respawn, and a demo brought out by the Hammerheads clears out the goal for them. But a last-minute recovery by the Barracudas keeps them in the lead.
Potato looking for a 50. Will go in favor of Sketch, who gets the pinch towards the back wall. An opportunity. Potato is not able to put it on net properly. Sketch taps it up. There's no third man to take the shot, so Sketch hits it toward the corner. Potato takes a shot from the corner. Oh, he passes it over to Boss, who then hits it in. A 3-point passing play. You see Sketch. He says, all right, I got you, Potato. Potato's like, all right, I got you, Boss. And he puts it mid. We will find another goal in favor of the Hammerheads. They now lead this series again. Or no, it's 2-2. Even scoreline with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock.
Adrift falls to the ground. Sketch with a dribble up the field. And it doesn't look like either team really finds that much of a groove here, as it's still tied 2-2.
Sketch playing it down. Baby and Adrift are in the way. Baby takes the shot because Potato is just not quite able to read it properly, and that will lead to a 3-goal advancement in favor of the Barracudas, but only a 1-goal differential.
Ball up and to the side. Potato isn't able to drive it up the field. Instead, Gababy takes it away from him, pushes it over to Nano, and it's redirected into the goal to put the Barracudas in a 2-goal lead.
The ball actually had a blue trail off the touch here. I'm wondering if it accidentally got redirected by... Oh, it did. He did make contact, but he just didn't quite make proper contact. He just ended up giving it a little bit more oomph towards the zone back of his net. Now, Barracudas leading by 2. They're definitely capable of getting back to a game or a best of 5 if they win this game. Pass out mid. Nano will take the shot. It hits the sidewall. Blocked by Boss, who does get the clear downfield. Past 1. Adrift will block. Hits it towards the back of the net. Trying to keep it up a little longer. And a shot from Nano will find the back of the net. A very spicy aerial play from the two of them. Adrift with the pass out mid after the flip from the wall. And Nano with the upside down redirect, pushing it towards the back of the net. No defender there in time. Lots of shade in the chat right now from the Barracudas.
Baby pushes it around the corner. Drift with a shot toward the goal. And he'll pushes it back toward the goal, and then eventually is able to clear it.
Potato's up, takes the shot, blocked by Nano towards the corner. Sketches in the way, keeps it to himself. Oh, some miscoordination there from Boss and Sketch, but they will survive a little longer. Potato ends up flipping downfield, has faith in his teammate Boss to push it downfield, looks for the demo. Leaves it, Sketch takes the pass towards the back wall. It'll bounce out, but Adrift will keep it in the corner a little longer. Potato with the demo, Gababy with the shot downfield. Boss has to block, hits it to the corner. Playing it slow, playing around 1. Dribbles past 1, but Nano will keep it in play a little longer. Potato gets the pitch off, but it will go all the way to the other end of the field. Not quite out of his own end yet. Potato flick past 1, flick over a second. Adrift is up, or Nano is up. Gets the clear downfield to Gababy.
And just sliding it in there, Gababy picks up his hat trick. Puts in Barracudas to an even bigger lead. Sketch just unable to rotate around time it fast enough. That puts the Barracudas up to a 4-goal lead with just over a minute left.
Right now, pressure is all in favor of the Barracudas, but they're still down 1 game, so it's not feeling like they have a mounting lead quite yet. With the switch in from Adrift, it's looking good for them right now as they extend that lead to 5 with a minute left on that clock.
And at this point, just the amount of goals that you would need to score at this point is just a little bit too much to overcome.
Well, we've seen them score about a goal every 10 seconds, so technically they have plenty of time, but honestly, 5 goals this late in the game is going to be pretty hard to do, and the Barracudas are looking really solid. They're just doing a really good job of finding these passing plays, and the Hammerheads just aren't shutting them down properly. Potato looking for a play out mid from the corner. Not able to quite make anything of it. Sketch just given the freest shot of his life. And he will find the back of the net as none of the Barracudas make contact.
At this point, it seems everyone's just kind of resigned themselves toward another game. We still have a whole lot more left to play. Not really much the Hammerheads can do at this point. They're going to try off of the kickoff. Quickly gets deflected by Adrift. Played over by Sketch. Gababy has the open shot and claims it to make it 8.
30 seconds left on the clock. There's really not a whole lot left to say with this game. The result is probably not going to change an 11-goal game. Not a whole lot of excitement yet either, as it's kind of just a lot of back and forth of defenses breaking down.
And Sketch clear off the kickoff is going to get deflected by Adrift. Rotato grounds it. Actually, is going to push it toward the goal. Find his goal. Push it within 4 goals. But still only 18 seconds left.
Potato with a tap off the wall. Back to himself will find the back of the net. 50-50 in favor of the Barracudas, but Sketch gets first touch, plays it back to himself. And a shot from Adrift after a missed touch from Sketch will make it a 13-goal game. You thought it was over with 30 seconds left on the clock? Nope, 2 more goals in 10 seconds, 1 for either team. Just kind of giving us the same result that we knew was going to happen before. Still a 5-goal differential between the Hammerheads and the Barracudas. Seems like both teams have just decided, yeah, I'm not playing any more defense for this game.
Off to the corner, just 10 seconds left before everything ends, and looks like with that clear toward midfield, that is indeed going to be the case, unless the Barracudas want to showboat a little and get another goal, but they let it drop, and that does it. And pretty darn in favor of the Barracudas, although it felt like for that last minute there wasn't really that much of a formal attitude on the field anyway. So the Barracudas, once they got a big lead, just kind of cruised off to the victory. Going to tie it 1 apiece in this best of 7. And another quick look at everyone who has rotated in. Remember, Adrift rotating in for the Barracudas as a last-minute replacement. So Barracudas ultimately playing pretty well despite all their circumstances. Now that we have this game at 1 apiece, we are going to see how it turns out and who is going to take home the championship. I think the Barracudas, though, based off of that last-minute flip, seem a lot more comfortable with Adrift rotating in.
Yeah, I think the thing to remember is even though they won pretty substantially, the game 1 that we saw in the first best of 7 was kind of in a similar way, and it didn't go in favor of the Barracudas. I think anything could happen. I think the attitudes definitely need to be the right table for us to even see something like that, but I think the Hammerheads, honestly, if things keep up the way they have been going, I can still see them winning this. I think they want it more.
Well, it's ready to head into the match. We're back down to the field in game number 3. First kickoff is going to go in favor of the Barracudas as Adrift takes it. Baby is next to follow up, and Protato beats him to it. Pushing the ball back into the corner, but no centering is going to come there. Hammerheads, in fact, are going to be kept on the back foot by some consistent saves from the Barracudas.
Protato hitting it mid. Adrift barely able to keep it out, keeps it to himself. Boss looks for the 50-50 in front of the net, and will go in favor of the Barracudas. Sketch taps it back up to himself, looks for the play off the backboard here, air dribbles it, gets past 1, and gets past the second. Adrift is not ready for him to not tap it towards the backboard. Playing it slow, Sketch will win out in the 1v3. Finding the back of the net here, Adrift just not able to make contact, and Sketch will just fly all the way in.
Hammerheads back into an early lead. I'm going to try to capitalize on that as Protato moves off following the kickoff. Sketch pushes it back across the midfield. Nano back to the center. The Baby leaves it up high and essentially beats Nano in midair. Going to try to get a double touch on that. Falls out of the air a bit too quickly. Gababy now clears it back to Barracudas. Back to Hammerheads.
Sketch past 1, looks to pass the Drift. Drift will slow play it back towards himself. All 3 Barracudas in one spot right now lead to an opportunity. Boss has to make a play past Nano, past Baby. Gets past all three, in fact. They all three went for that for the Barracudas and is just rolled on in.
Now as we move in here, a little bit over a minute left. Or a minute having elapsed. And a quick goal by Adrift pushes it back in favor of the Barracudas.
Adrift finds a nice chink in the armor out of a little bit of a defensive misplay from the Hammerheads, but it's not enough to put them in a secure position yet. They still need one more and to play some solid defense. Potato wins 50-50, but Nano should be there first, but no one makes contact with the Barracudas until Adrift comes at the last minute, and a backflip from Sketch will give the Barracudas the goal they need, I guess.
Adrift pushes it in, Barracuda's feeling confident, and they drive it to an equalizer. 3 minutes 41 seconds left on the clock, still plenty of game to play. Back in favor of Adrift. Potato to answer it back. Gets hit by Gababy off to the side.
Baby is up, doesn't quite make contact. Adrift will come in instead. Nano with the play out mid. Sketch taps it out to Potato. Plays it downfield. Gababy with 50-50, leaving it for Sketch. Plays it slow. Potato will cut in and take it from him. Play off the sidewall from Adrift, hits it back himself, then back to Nano, who hits it back towards his own net. Past Potato into Baby. Baby looking for the outplay, gets past one. Sketch is in the way, but he doesn't get in the way enough. They get blocked out barely. Essentially, Boss just keeping in the corner for a little longer.
Ball back toward midfield. Gababy corrals it to keep the side control going for the Barracudas. Tries to waterfall it down. Essentially, he's waiting and manages to find the save. Back across the field. Nano grounds it. Going to reverse back into it. Draw it back across mid. So Drift runs a bit of interference, trying to bump everyone out of the way. But with a demo onto Gababy, there's no one for Nano to pass to. So the play just kind of dies midfield, and Hammerheads retake control. Les Gababy with this very quick play, and the follow-up from Nano just might trickle into the goal, and that is the case.
And now a 2-0 lead for the Hammerheads will end up being dissolved completely as the Barracudas pull ahead with a 3-2 lead left. 2 minutes 13 left on the clock, less than half a game left to play. 5 goals scored already. Any team could still walk away with this, but it is looking in favor of the Barracudas. They've had all the momentum for the last minute. Baby looking to aerial play with Nano, but doesn't really make contact. A pass over from the Hammerheads. It's just not good enough. And in front of his own net, we will find Sketch. No, not Sketch. Boss accidentally setting up Nano.
Now 2 goals in the lead for the Barracudas with 2 minutes exactly remaining. Whole lot of contest on that initial kickoff goes in favor of Gababy. Drift going in reverse, but isn't able to get control of the ball. Sketch now back over to the other side of the field. Drift misses on that aerial. Essentially clears it back, might have a breakaway, but Adrift gets back to the goal quick enough and gets the save.
Drift towards the wall, Potato not able to get the read. Boss hits it towards the backboard. They have time, but he doesn't really make contact. Gababy makes a big clear of his own towards the back wall, looking for the double touch. He does get it. No attempt from the Hammerheads at all to stop it. Gababy will just take this goal for free. Boss just doesn't quite make it. And Sketch was relying heavily on Boss.
Even bigger lead for the Barracudas now. Seems all but decided for them. Drift goes back into the corner. Baby pushes it. Nano heads up. They almost redirected back into the goal, almost to get their 6th. Hammerheads need to find a clear. Potato gets it, and it heads back over to the corner.
Potato looking to play it down. Does get beaten out by Barracuda's defense. Passing towards the wall, Potato plays it slow and does find a goal. A little chink in the armor. No one defending the front post, and does weave it out from around the corner here. He does get past the one defender, and then notices Gababy was relying heavily on that one defender and finds the open net.
Little under a minute left in favor of Potato on that kickoff. 40 seconds left. Potato drives it over to the other corner. Sketch back passes it. 30 seconds left. Dribble up the field. Off to the side. And at this point, everyone's just kind of waiting for the next game. Barracuda's going to go into a 2-1 lead and have the chance to make it a match point just after this. 10 seconds left. We'll wait for the ball to hit the ground. Drift pushes it toward the goal. Pushes it up in the air. Double commit on the save from the Hammerheads. And that just about does it for this game. Barracudas win this one 5-3. Possibly 6-3 if they get a final goal. And that is indeed going to do it.
A battle at the beginning of that game for sure, but it will end up spilling out in favor of the Barracudas, stacking a rather tremendous goal lead by the end of it. Seems to be kind of their MO at this point. The games that they do lose seem to be pretty close.
At this point, you can just see so many shots on goal by the Barracudas. You just see so much in front of the goal at a close range there. It really seems like the Hammerheads are really struggling with getting pushed back into their own goal right in front of it. And the clears aren't just coming through for them. The Barracudas just basically have free reign over the center of the Hammerheads' goal.
Yeah, it definitely feels that way. And that's part of what I was talking about before is the Hammerheads don't necessarily do a good job of cutting down these big passing plays before they happen. They look more to make the last-ditch effort saves. And while that can work, it doesn't give you a lot of control over what's going to end up happening. It does give the Barracudas just way too much space to do what they want.
Well, the Barracudas seem to have free reign. We'll see if they continue to have it as we move on into this next match. If they win this one, it will go to the match point. Barracudas have a chance to close things out. Essentially, Boss pushes it up the field. Sketch moves it off to the side. Potato gets a demo onto a drift. Potato, despite that demo, really hasn't been able to turn it into any sort of side control. Sketch does a little bit of a flip. Plays it past the drift as well.
Nano and Gababy both up for this. Doesn't look like any of them will be able to make anything of it. Drift looking for bumps, Sketch looking for a teammate, but ends up bumping Potato. He's going to play it towards the wall himself, where he will meet up with Nano, who will beat him out, pushing it towards the far corner. Not quite out of the woods yet for the Hammerheads. They have to find this ball and get it out as soon as possible. Potato making a play, takes the shot, but blocked by Nano. Sketch looking for a weird backwards flip shot. Doesn't quite make it. Boss caught out by a drift. Will take the clear all the way over to Nano, who then passes it back mid, only to be blocked by Potato. No shots really taken yet. A lot of back and forth. Looks like maybe the Barracudas are missing a player. No, our UI is just broken. They have all three.
Baby gets a drift, actually credited with the shot on goal. Yeah, drift is still in the field. Just looks like there's a bug. The UI as far as he's concerned. But he's still making a difference. Plays past 2. The Hammerheads are unable to clear that one out. Now about 3 minutes. Gababy pushes it down into the goal and is going to get the first lead for the Barracudas.
Shot from midfield off of a pass from a drift. It just looks like there's no one quite there yet. A little bit of a pre-chump from Sketch. Not quite reading it very well. Now the 50-50 favor of the Hammerheads. They will remain in pressure even though they got the first push off. They have a moment as Drift dribbles downfield. It's going to be wide. Potato hits it towards the sidewall, looking for a play back from himself. Maybe a pass upwards to Sketch, but ultimately just has to go for the 50-50, passing it out mid to a Drift. As Sketch attempts to recreate any kind of aggressive play here. Blocked only for a minute by Barracuda's defense.
Potato moves up with a flick to really not really anyone there, and it just kind of dies in front of the goal. And the Barracudas have a chance to clear this out. Kababy is going to air dribble it back toward Hammerhead's goal. Doesn't go in, instead just bounces off the side post. Nano hanging back for the defense, quickly jams it toward the goal, and it's saved by Sketch. Now on the recontest, essentially Boss trying to play it around the players. It just goes wide off to the far side, and they're not going to find a goal. Barracudas have a chance to clear this back out.
2 minutes left on the clock. Potato drops it down to Boss, who hits it towards the wall. Maybe an opportunity here. A Drift has made contact, and 3 waiting Hammerheads, relying heavily on that one player not making contact, but alas, he does. You can see they're all in front of the net, working together to find this shot. That scoreline will go to the complicated 0-0 with a little less than 2 minutes left on the clock.
The baby unable to elevate up. You can see he was trying to get a shot on goal. It's knocked out of the way. Not that it's going to make any much of a difference. The Hammerheads kind of over-contested so much on this disruption and essentially didn't quite read that correctly that it just goes over him. And the Barracudas get back into a lead.
1 minute 46 left on the clock. Barracudas leading the way going into game 4. If they win, they'll be put in the exact same position they were put in the first best of 7, where they were up 3-1 at match point. Have to see if we can close it out this time. Sketch plays it off the wall. Potato can take the shot. It's a slow roller though. Easily saved by Kababy. Sketch plays it past one. Potato's up. Doesn't quite get a good 50-50, but it will spill out. Nano looking to jump on any opportunity here given to him by Potato. Kababy will cut in and take it towards the wall. Takes it back to himself. Takes a shot towards the backboard. Nope, it's actually just in. Barracudas lead by 2 goals coming into the last 60 seconds of this match.
Seems to be a comfortable margin for them. Only about 1 or 2 times they've dropped that many goals in such a short amount of time. Next kickoff in favor of the Barracudas again. Back off to the corner. And Kababy go after it. Just a shot not quite, a little bit wide off to the left. Now we just have 1 minute left. Barracudas leading by 2 goals. Hammerheads trying desperately for their clear, but they're going to be kept from getting it. Sketch now pushes it back toward Nano.
Drift looking for the air dribble. Gets the flipper set. Gets over one. Leaves it for Kababy. Takes a shot, but is blocked by Hammerhead's defense. Potato has a little bit of time. He's going to get demoed. A side shot from a Drift will open up an opportunity, but Kababy is not able to do anything with that opportunity yet. Drift looking to play around 1, plays it around 2. Potato is up, however, that 3rd man finally able to keep it out. Kababy hits it towards the back of the net, but it does not quite make contact. It's too short. Looks like Nano might be DC'd. I don't think it'll end up mattering with only like 7 seconds left on the clock. It's either DC'd or typing. Hopefully the servers for this event are going to continue to be in a good spot after we've already seen a little bit of a mishap with Crazy Cats earlier, but it doesn't end up mattering. Nano and the Barracudas coming out on top of this one, putting them in the exact same spot they were in the first best of 7. This time, however, they need to actually win the last game to come out on top and slay the Hammerheads once more. We'll have to see if the Hammerheads are really willing to lose that badly again, but you can see almost all the collective pressure in favor of the Barracudas this game.
Yeah, you see only 4 shots on goal there from one side of the field. I mean, the 5th shot on goal was really just a clear that happened on the other way side of the field. So it doesn't seem like the Hammerheads can even gain that much footing, not clear it out, let alone get a shot on goal after that clear. It seems most of the time they're just on the back foot defending in their half.
Definitely have to agree there. Something needs to change for the Hammerheads soon. I don't know if the Barracudas are getting in their heads with all the chatter or anything like that, or if they're just not quite feeling it right now, or if the drift change is making a big difference. Regardless of what it is, Hammerheads, this is your last life. You've been in this situation before. You're not a stranger to it. You can do something from here, but you have to work together. Boss looks for the clear around 1, and already a weird fake kickoff from the Barracudas will result in them getting the pressure, but only after the Hammerheads collecting on a free shot. Won't matter. A drift will take a pass from his teammate and find the back of the net, finding once again the lead for them in the beginning of this game. They're feeling good going into the final game that they need to walk away with this series, even after a hard-fought battle in the first game, best of 7.
Initial kickoff there is going to be equalized by essentially. Seems like they just let him have that one. Drift just kind of misses that, and the other two aren't even hanging out anywhere near.
Yeah, a fake kickoff. It looks like Nano is just kind of hanging out in the net, driving up and down on the wall while his teammate went for boost normally. Sketch ready for the play. Now the Hammerheads going for their own fake kickoff, and I don't know if that was an own goal or not. Good thing we have replays. Okay, a double fake kickoff. Sketch taps it. Nano misses, and Potato own goals. All right, so Barracudas lead by a goal. 20 seconds only into this game, and 3 goals scored already. Looks like Sketch will team bump his own teammate in the net. Drift trying to find one more goal, but not able to make anything of it.
Ball is being held in midfield right now as both of these teams very casually try to play. Even that seems like a little bit too whole of a task right now, but maybe we have a dribble here from Sketch. Looks like they're trying to get some one-on-ones. They're going to let that go into the bowl.
A good outplay from Sketch. Looks like Boss is playing defense for the Barracudas now. Couldn't tell you why, but he is. 4 goals scored in 51 seconds. Very high scoring game so far. Not a lot of defense being played. Baby finds the clear out, a drift, bangs it downfield to Potato, who is bumped out of the way by Sketch. A double commit on the wall from the Hammerhead. This could be disastrous, but none of the Barracudas are in the way. Potato will get the play around 1. Boss will just clobber Potato, and Sketch will hit it back towards the Barracudas and relieve pressure entirely for his team.
Ball heads back towards the Hammerhead's own goal. Nano clears it out. The goal is wide open, and he deflects off to the side. Of course he does when the goal is wide open. It's going to head back toward the Hammerhead's own side. Will they be able to clear this? It's going to head back over toward a Sketch. Adrift gets the demo onto Sketch, and Nano pushes it into the goal to get the Barracudas back in the lead.
Nano had a good flip reset here, just no one quite able to get in his way. He kind of does whatever he wants. Potato doesn't quite make contact, and essentially Boss will not make good contact either. Looks like we are in favor of Barracudas again, almost finding their way out of this series by any means necessary, including recruiting the enemy team. Looks like Nano's going for the biggest cherry pick of his life, and he does not quite make it, but it was a good attempt altogether. Baby passing it back over to Drift, who will hit it towards the back of the net, and Boss never let that in. Drift has to play it off the wall, has only Potato in the way. Potato will tap it, however, and leave it for Sketch. Has 2 players get past, does get past 1, only has 1 more to beat, and he does. Baby caught off guard by the 50-50. Sketch will find the back of the net. We're back to an even scoreline.
One other goal for the Hammerheads to tie it back up. About halfway through the match, 2 minutes, 47 seconds left. And this next kickoff is going to go back in favor of the Barracudas. Heads back toward their own goal and denied by Sketch. That's going to be... That's going to head back over.
Baby clear downfield, takes it back himself off the wall. An opportunity for Nano, doesn't quite get the read. Drift is coming up, but Potato's able to get it out. Sketch with a big bang upfield. Potato and Boss double committing with no shot on net. Sketch clearing it to himself, tries to get past one, doesn't quite get it. Nano almost creating an opportunity for his team there, but nothing quite yet. Adrift looks to the flick past one, could be an opportunity. Nano is barely blocked in the last minute by Hammerhead's defense. A 3-3 scoreline with 2 minutes left on the clock. Potato looking to extend his lead, maybe find a game 5 here. Shot from Sketch will be a little bit wide as it is deflected. Nano up to make a big shot, but is not quite able to do it. Adrift off the wall again, but Baby being demoed will relieve pressure, allow Sketch to take a shot of his own, but Boss will clear it out towards Nano. No shot from the Hammerheads quite yet. Potato has to play this slow off the wall, otherwise Adrift will walk away with it. He doesn't play it slow. Adrift takes a shot, but essentially Boss is in the way to keep it out a little longer. Clock winding down, closing in on that 60-second mark, and we're still at basically a 0-0 scoreline. Oh, but Sketch doesn't get the read on his teammate whiffing, and so it will just roll into the back of the net off of the back end of Sketch's car. Essentially Boss not quite making contact, and Sketch just not ready for it.
Now just a little bit over a minute left, and Barracuda sit on the edge of the championship. Everyone's going to go for the ball in kickoff. Heads back over toward the Barracuda's territory, and Gababy now moves in for the clear, moves up the field to play around Potato, but Potato gets a touch on it. Now it's going to go after Nano and Adrift. 1 minute left, the ball heading toward the goal, and is saved at the last moment by Essentially. Essentially is now going to take that and try to make it on his own offensive drive. Drives it toward the goal. Gababy tries to stop it, but it's not going to turn into a clear. Heads back over. Reflex shot onto goal by Potato. Not able to get it. It just bounces up and down in front of their own goal, and it turns into a clear that Adrift gets. One more goal by the Barracuda should be an insurance goal for them to win it, as we are half a minute left into this match.
20 seconds left on the clock. Hammerheads on their last life. They need to find a last-ditch efforts goal in order to keep themselves in this series. And the pressure's just not in their favor right now. Nano takes a shot, and that might seal the deal, but it's barely out by Sketch. But no, the follow-up shot from Adrift. 10 seconds left on the clock. Now, the Hammerheads have to find 2 goals. I just don't think they can do it. I think the Barracudas are going to get walked away with here. Finally, Barracuda's pulling for ahead for real. Maybe an opportunity here for one of the Hammerheads, but with 5 seconds left, I don't think they can do it. The own goal, however, from Gababy will mean that they have an opportunity here. Essentially, Boss taking the shot. Just not quite going to happen. We can see Cass is back in the chat. Possibly just had connection issues earlier. 50-50. Not in favor.
And there we end it.
Yep. Barracuda is walking away with this after a brutal first series, best of 7, followed by a almost clean sweep in favor of the Barracudas.
Well, if you want to be seen by expert college recruiters, talk directly to esports industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers, then join the club. Esports Tower players get inside access to industry insights, and with our featured rumbles, recruiters are taking notice too. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or land a collegiate scholarship. Well, now that all is said and done, the Barracudas are overall going to get the victory in that match. And of course, we're going to have the top 3 players of the game that we are going to see here to decide who. I just think we'll go right into it. I think we'll see what our options are and then decide between ourselves who most gets the goal. And looks like the first goal is going to be going over to Sketch, who definitely played very hard on the Hammerheads to try to drive it back.
Sketch definitely was one of the more focused players, even right up until the end with all that craziness. You could see him putting in the effort to try to swing things in favor of his team, but it wasn't quite working. Nano being another offensive force since the beginning of the 12 games that we had to see, but definitely someone you have to watch out for if you're playing against this Barracudas roster.
And the third nominee for the player of the game is indeed going to be Gababy on the side of the Barracudas. And it seemed once the Barracudas were able to make a team roster change and flop around, they were able to get back into the groove, find what they needed for the win. So congratulations to them for winning that game. So overall, we have overall our nominees, and I think I got to give it over to the Hammerheads, who showed a lot of initiative trying to drive it back in Game 1, drove it all the way to a best-of-7, so I would just kind of overall give it to them on that ground.
Yeah, I have to hand it to Sketch. I feel like Sketch's focus was pretty immaculate. He did a really good job of just trying to be active on the field. And yes, we will see it in favor of Sketch, despite the victory in favor of the Barracudas. Sketch putting in a great effort and doing a really good job of making things happen on the offensive ends of the field, creating all these opportunities and being a leading force in the comeback in that first best-of-7.
Well, it kind of reminds me of the end of cards. There's a whole lot more to racing than just winning, and I think Sketch definitely showed a lot more motivation and a lot more willingness to try to get the team back to a winning position and just wasn't able to overcome the Barracudas at the end. But congratulations, Sketch. You are the player of the game for this Esports Tower Rumble. Brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like Idaho Central's helping members achieve financial success. Sketch is your ICCU player of the game. Well, congratulations to all our teams on a fantastic night of Rocket League. The Barracudas and Hammerheads had a bracket reset in the end, and the Barracudas came out victorious and claimed the title. Make sure to join us next week on Wednesday for more Rocket League action at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll close out now with the top 5 plays of the game, brought to you by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. Idaho Army National Guard is the best team to join out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuardGaming. Thank you for watching, and enjoy your top 5 plays.